Okey. Görüntü var. Ekran görüntüsü vardır.
Bəli, görsənir.
Əla. Tak. Sonra aha. Tak. Baxaq görək kimlər var, kimlər yoxdur. Videoları zəhmət olmasa.
Hər kəs buradadır, birlər yoxdur.
Kim yoxdur?
Fatimə müəllim. Fatimə hələ ki yoxdur.
Tamam. Video görüntüləri zəhmət olmasa yandırın, baxaq görək kim var, kim yoxdur. Video görüntülər zəhmət olmasa. Tak, Asyana burada.
Buradayım.
Əla. Video görüntülər həmişə yanılı olmalıdır. Tak, Ayla.
Buradayım.
Video görüntülər yanılı olmalıdır. Okey. Fatima. Fatima.
Fatimə dedim, axı müəllim yoxdur Fatimə.
Ha, Fatima yoxdur. Okey. Farid.
Buradayım.
Keçdim. Hüseyin.
Buradayım.
Tak. Nərmin.
Buradayım.
Əla. Nigar.
Burada.
Okey. Orxan.
Buradayım.
Hı-hı.
Mənə Fatimə indi qoşuldu dərsə.
Da, Fatima qoşuldu. Videoları yandırın, zəhmət olmasa. Nigar.
Mənim internetim zəifdir, aça bilmirəm videonu. Səsiniz onda gəlmir.
Okey. Orxan.
Buradayım.
Əla. Omar.
Burada.
Видео включи, пожалуйста.
У меня включенный.
Да, что-то я не вижу тебя. А, да, все вижу. Так. Рушана.
Здесь.
Отлично. Русев.
Buradayım.
Сабина.
Здесь.
Прекрасно. Vüsal.
Bəli, müəllim, buradayım.
Все, əla. Da hamı buradadır da, belə çıxır.
Bəli, hamı buradadır.
Əla. Okey. Keçən dəfə biz nədə qalmışdıq? Farid, скажи.
Не помню. Mən deyə bilərəm, şeydən danışdıq. Bazik üsulun binalar göstərdiniz, gotik üsulda olan bir də bunların qarşılığında olan tikililər, məsələn, İtaliyada Pisa qalası falan bunların üstünə gətirə bilərəm. Bir də Romada olan su sistemləri falan var ki, onlar suyu necə daşıyırdılar, çəkirdilər, onlarla bağlı olan mimarlıq tikilləri.
Tamam. Rusif, Rovşana, Sabina. Bir şey deyə bilərsiniz bu haqda?
Müəllim,
Alo.
yadıma düşmüşkən bir sualım olacaq imtahanla bağlı.
Bəli.
İmtahanlarla bağlı müəllim, sualım olacaqdı. Yəni bizdə növbəti həftələrdə SDF həftəsi başlayır. Noyabrın 10-undan. Bizdə müəllim nə vaxt olacaq?
Öyle bizdə də noyabrın 10-undan başlayır.
Neçə sual olacaq müəllim?
3 sual olacaq.
Hər 3 sual. Bəs ümumi biz indi oradan öyrənməliyik də.
Mən sualları verəcəm sizə. Ümumi məncə bir dəqiqə.
30 sual maksimumlar da.
Bəli, bəli. Hardasa 25 sual olacaq belə. Okey, indi keçən dəfə biz nə keçmişdi? Vüsal deyə bilərsən? Belə çox qısa olaraq.
Keçən dəfə müəllim yadımda deyil, tam castle göstərirdiniz. Prosta yadımda deyil. Hansı castle idi?
Siz necə imtahan
Kilsələr
verirsiniz?
üslubundan danışmışdınız. Bir də ki, o kilsə zəngləri haqqında məlumat vermişdiniz ki, nə üçün istifadə olunur falan filan. Bir də gotik memarlıq üslubu abidələrini göstərmişdiniz bayaq Orxan dediyi kimi.
Okey. Bugünkü mövzu skiflər haqqındadır. Kimsə nəsə bilir skiflər haqqında?
Adlarını eşitmişəm, amma belə ətraflı bir məlumatım yox.
Əslində deməli biz bir dəqiqə. Deməli biz gotika dövrünü başlayırdıq artıq. Yəni ki, biz Avropa mədəniyyətinin 12-ci əsrə qədər olan məsələlərinə nəzər yetirmişdik. Amma belə götürsək, logika ilə götürsək, gərək biz 12-dən də sonra gedərdik də, yəni ki, gotika və sonraki dövrlər, yəni orta əsrlər. Amma biz yenidən antik dövrə qayıdırıq. Niyə? Çünki antik dövrü biz araşdıranda biz ancaq Avropanı araşdırmışdıq. İndi isə amma Asiya qalmışdı. Ona görə də Asiyaya biraz nəzər yetirək, baxaq görək Asiyada həmin antik dövrü zamanı, həmin o dövrdə nələr baş verirdi. Və gördüyünüz kimi skiflər bizim əsas bugünkü mövzumuz olacaq. Gəlin başlayaq. Mən sizin üçün material hazırlamışam. Who are Scythians? Okay. Skiflər kimdir? Who are Scythians? Who can say? Kim deyə bilər? Nəsə heç olmasa skiflər haqqında kimsə nəsə bilir?
Müəllim, bir neçə padşahlıq olub. İndi məktəb vaxtı yadımdan qalandan deyirəm. İskif, Kimmer, Sak padşahlığı.
Aha.
Bir də yəni ki, Azərbaycanın hərbi siyasi tarixində də rol olub. Yadımda qalan yəni bunlardır.
Aha, tamam.
Bir neçə padşahlıqdan ibarət olublar.
Çox gözəl. İndi biz
Sak,
birinci minilliyə qaydırıq. Yəni antik dövrü. Və this is the map of the Persian Empire, and this is the Scythians and Parthia. Parthia is an ancient Persia if we go to the origin of the Scythians, that's the Scythia, and they were some tribes who lived in that territory, as you see, Scythians and Sakis. Actually, some scientists, some archaeologists join those two tribes, join those two elements, and call it Scythian world. But actually, Sakis are not the Scythians. They are, how to say, very close to each other with the culture and in historical aspects, but we cannot say that the Scythians and Sakis are the same. And we have two types of, let's say, two types of Scythians. The classical Scythians were situated on a northern coast of the Black Sea. They came from somewhere. Nobody knows actually where did they came. And now I'll say about the origin of the Scythians. As you see on a map, we can see that expansion of Scythians, and the most you see Scythia, the Persian Empire. They settled on the coast of the Black Sea, northern coast of the Black Sea, between those two rivers. It's actual territory of modern Ukraine, and in a little bit northern part of the Caucasus, here, as you see on the map. Okay, let's brief information about the Scythians. The Scythian language is included in the northeast subgroup of Iranian languages. The Sauromats, or Sarmatians, Sakis or Saks, and Massagetes were very close to in language and culture to the Scythians. Actually, it's an I would say some scientists I would say some scientists thought that the language belonged to the Iranian language. I mean, subgroup of Iranian Scythian language is Iranian language, but there is no evidence to say that, because we don't know anything that were written in Scythian language. Okay, biz yani bilmirik dəqiq. We don't know exactly, but most scientists say that the language is Iranian group. Some of them said that the language is Proto-Turk language. They were not Iranians, they were Proto-Turks, yani Qədim Türklər, and they were the ancestors of the Turks. Some scientists said that Scythians are the ancestors to Slavic tribes, to yani Slavyan xalqlara məxsusdur, yəni onların ancestorslardır. Okay? And as I said, at the time of existence, the history of Kytheons in the northern Black Sea region, here, northern Black Sea region, the coast of the Black Sea. And if we talk about the Scythians, we can see that we have Sarmatian tribes, as you see, and the Scythian tribes. Here, actually, we don't know nothing about the empire. Was it an empire or was it a kingdom? We just know that there were some tribes that live in that area. And actually, before this lesson, we were talking about people who were on a we're talking about the people who live in southern parts of Mediterranean Sea. They were Greek. They were Greece, ancient Rome, and so on. And the tribes who live in a central part of Turkey, I mean here somewhere. But now we are talking about the nomadic tribes. At that time, the nomadic tribes began to conquer new lands. Yeah, and after this, the Scythians came to historical arena. And if we talking about the Scythians, we can start their story, the history from the 8th century before Christ to 4th century after millennium. Understand? 8 to 4. From the beginning of the war with the Cimmerians and the defeat of the Scythian kingdom by the Goths in Crimea, in Crimea. Okay. What is about the naming of the Scythians? Scyths from Greek, multi-temporal vocalization of self-name dating back to ancient Iran, Skuda or Shkuda, shooter, archer. There are the other possible meanings in Scythia and Akkadian languages. Akkadian languages, ancient nomadic people carried from of the Scythian language. Sukami or Old Persian Saka or Saki was called Persian, authors, and Scythians, a number of ancient Greek historical Asian. Actually, we have some namings, but nobody knows what Scythians, how Scythians call themselves. Onlar özlərini necə adlandırdılar, heç kim bilmir. As you see, actually the first evidence of the Scythians were from the Akkadian sources, then from the ancient Persian sources, and of course the third was from the Greek sources. And one of the first who wrote about the Scythians and one of the biggest massive of data was written by Herodot. Here is. It's someone called them the father of history, and Herodot wrote a lot about the Scythians, and the most common knowledge that we have nowadays, we can get from the Herodot's interpretation of the Scythians. Okay. And according to the most widespread version, Scythians appeared in the north of the Caucasus and in the north of the Black Sea region at the end of 8th to 7th century before Christ, as you see on a map. Yeah, and as a result of a migration from Asia under pressure from neighbors. Actually, from the Massagets, we'll talk about the Massagets because, as you know, Persian Emperor Kir II, or the first, decided to conquer Scythians, decided to conquer the northern part of Black Sea. Why he decided to do this? Actually, because we know that at that times, let me show you another map of Libya. Yeah. Yes, so another map. At that times, there were a lot of. Here's we have ancient Greece, and the Greece call this land Attica. Attica is the heart of the Greece, and the Greece start to conquer another lands that they actually don't conquer. They established a new cities and go to the east, to the Lydian territories, to the modern territory of the Turkey, and came up to the Black Sea region and go here. All via Tira and so on, Theodosia, Chersones. Actually, it's a territory, it's a Crimea, and this is a territory of the Greece colonies. The Greece have their on this in this place. They have a lot of towns, a lot of cities, and more than 500%, more than 15% of bread and wheat came from this region to Attica. Let me show you map of ancient Greece. Yeah, as you see, this is Attica. It is the heart of Greece, and map of map of Scythia. And and most of the things, goods, they here see from to Anatolia goes from the Crimea region, from the northern part of the Black Sea. And when Scythians conquered this territory, actually there were some tribes that, as you see here, came. It's a Scythian migration route. They came to these lands and formed like Scythians. Understand? Onlar oraya geldiler. We'll talk about the origin of the Scythians in a couple of minutes. But they came to these lands and formed like Scythians. Yani oraya geldiler ve Skifler kimi tanınıblar, formalaşıblar. Of course, they have some trades with the Greek trade route, as you see. After they start to trade with each other. Actually, here we have some Greece policies. Polis, as you know, is a city with their own government, and they have some trades with the Attica, with the Greece, the motherland, and there are the other policies that were situated in a territory of Turkey, in the Minor Asia Minor. Then you see Greek city. Then after Persian invasion, the Persian I would say, sorry. After the Persian conquerors, the Persian Empire conquered the Asia Minor. The Persian knows that the Persians knew that there were some Scythians that are very powerful and very strong, with a very strong army. They know that they wanted to conquer Greece with everything that they have, and that's why he decided to conquer the northern parts of the Black Sea. But on another part of the but there were Scythians that were in the northern part of the Black Sea. That's why they decided to go. They decided to collect an army and go to the Scythia. But Let me show you. Maybe you know this story about the Tumris. She was Scythians, actually Scythians. I'll say a queen of Scythians, and after the Persian Empire decided to go to and conquer Scythia, but Tumris cut the head of Dari and then stopped the army of a conqueror from the conquer. Okay, Tumris, you know this story, maybe. But I don't want to go far to, as you see, this Persian Empire. I don't want to go far to the Scythian, I mean, to the history. What I want to say that we have two types of Scythians. The classical Scythia, yeah, Sarmatians, there are two types. All those tribes we call Scythian types. We have Eastern, Eastern Scythia and the Western Scythia. Actually, nowadays, a couple of years ago, archaeologists find some kurgans. I'll show kurgans and tell about the kurgans in a few minutes. We have northern, eastern, and western, as you see. We find some kurgans in Tuva. I mean, it's in Altai, Pazari kurgan, Arjan first, Arjan the second. Then some kurgans in a lot of kurgans of Scythian kings on the territory of Kazakhstan and so on. Those kurgans, those burials were much more older than the burials that we find, the kurgans and burials that we find in a territory of Ukraine, and territory of on a northern Black Sea region. Today, I mean, on the first part of our course, today's course, we'll talk about the Scythians from the Ukraine, I mean, from the northern part of Black Sea, and on the second part we'll talk about the Sakis, or talk about the Eastern Scythians. Okay, and I see. And let's talk about what we know. What do we know about the Scythians? Actually, the Scythians were nomadic. I would say, let me show you. Were nomadic tribes. Of course, they like to, as you see, Scythians. Maybe they will look like this. Yeah, will look like this. So very close to them, and they were best warriors at that time. First of all, they have a cavalry. I mean, they can have war. I mean, they can go and conquer new lands using horses, because they were nomadic. The horse was how to say the holy animal for the nomadic. Even today, some nomadic tribes live in Siberia, and nomadic nations like Kazakhs and so on. For those people who live in Central Asia, on those vast territories, for those people, the horses are holy animals. Understand? And that's why they start to conquer new lands, and the army was consist of 90% of our armies will consist of very quick and very Dutch cavalry with archers, and their archers were very strong. Their army was very strong, and nobody can do nothing against them actually. Even Persian Empire, Darius the First, as I told, who has the most powerful and the biggest army in the world, cannot uh, cannot win in the battle against the princess queen Tomiris. Okay, what can we say about the first? As I said that the first thing that is for the Scythians is their warriors. The warriors was the perfect for their times, and the archers were the perfect, the best of them, and they have very good equipment to the horses, and we'll take a look in a couple of minutes. The second thing is very interesting art. Actually, we are talking about the Scythians that live. Now we are talking about the Scythians that live in the northern part of Black Sea region. Yeah, and as they were living next to living next to them, um, uh, Greece people. I mean, next to the Greece colonies, Greece uh, uh, cities. Of course, they have some contact uh, from the Greece culture, and they get some things from the Greece culture. And now we are talking about the culture of. We are starting about talking about the culture of Scythians. Almost 1,000 years of our history is associated with the Scythians, who lived in a 7th century before Christ, appear in the foothills of the Caucasus, the steppes of the Kuban. Kuban is a region that is in Krasnodar nowadays, is somewhere here on the map, as you see, somewhere here. Uh, okay, the Azov region, and the Northern Black Sea region, and the Crimea. As I told before, it's this region somewhere. Okay, from 6th century to the 3rd, maybe sometimes the 4th century, they ruled from Don to Dunabe. Actually, Don is a river that is here. Dunabe is a river that is here, from here to here. Okay? After the establishment of the power of Sarmatians on these lands, the Scythians managed to retain the steppe Crimea and the lower Dnieper region. Dnieper is in Moldova. Here, they go far to the Dnieper. Okay, only the penetration of the Germanic tribes into the North Black Sea region and the Crimea, the Goths, interrupt the story of the Scythians, and actually the Goths, these tribes, stopped invasion and stopped actually they stopped of existence of the Scythian as a how something like um, government structure, yeah, or as a kingdom, let's say, because we don't know exactly was the Scythia an emperor empire, or maybe it was a kingdom, or it was a collection of kingdoms, or actually we don't know. But we know exactly that it is a territory that has their own rules, their own culture, their own structure, maybe rituals, and so on. And we'll talk about this in a couple of minutes. Scythians settlements in the North Black Sea region and Crimea. Let me show you. We have a lot of settlements in Scythia, as they were nomadic tribes at the first time, in the first, first 100 years. They have no settlements because they don't like to settle somewhere, because they were not sedentary tribes, they were nomadic tribes. But Greece were sedentary. That's why they began to mix with each other, and of course they actually were very peaceful to each other. Okay, in the second half of the 7th century BC, the beginning of the 6th century, the settlements of the Scythians take place on the territory of the northern Black Sea region, the Azov region, and Crimea, as I told, because before they have no settlements. The largest colony of the Nether Black Sea region was Olbia. Actually, Olbia, let me show you. Of course, it was a Greece colony. In Russian, it will be Olbia. Let me show you. Yeah, that's a colony. And Olbia is situated on the Crimea. Pantikopi is also see? Bosporskaya Tsar. Bosphor. Okay? Khersones. Kherson. Actually, it's a Crimea, and all those Olbia you see here, Tira, Olbia, Khersones, Feodosia, all those, see, Bospor Kimmeriyski. It means that the Cimmerians, as I told, were lived in those regions. Also, those colonies, those cities, was established by the Greece. They actually didn't conquer. You see, here's the Greece colonies, the main colonies of the Greece, the major colonies, as you see, and the coast that where the Greece was conquered or colonized. Actually, they were not conquerors. Greece. They just came and established a city with their own rules, and have a trade with other tribes, with other people, and so on. And those tribes who live in that territories, they were very peaceful to the Greece. Actually, in most cases, of course, we have exceptions, but in most cases, they were very peaceful to each other. Okay. And the Olbia is actually the largest colony in the northern Black Sea region, which established trade relations with the agricultural tribes of the forest steppe, as those tribes that we talk about as the let me show you where it was. Yeah, it's Attica, Black Sea, and so. And there were some tribes that between Dunai and Dniester, you see those rivers, and as I told you, as you remember, we have some tribes who live in a forest in the over Europe, and it's a modern territory of Moldova, Ukraine, Romania, maybe Hungary, and so on, as a territory. And there were some tribes who live in the forests. and of course, forests and steppes. Experts believe that the Scythians managed not only to populate the northern Black Sea region, the Azov region, and the steppe Crimea, but also to establish a dominance over the agricultural tribes that live in a forest steppe. Archaeologists note that it was at this time that fortifications were erected around the settlements of farmers, and explain this by the need for protection from the Scythians. Of course, they were very aggressive tribes, and they like to conquer and like to rob some settlements. I mean, the most settlements that around them. Uh, some settlements can pay some gold to this to Scythians, and then Scythians let them go. But in most cases, Scythians rob the settlements that were around them. Ladies and gentlemen, give me a couple of minutes a break, and I'll come back and continue. Okay? Uh, I said couple of words about the history of Scythians, and I mean, how do we know, and from what sources do we know about the Scythians? But the history of archaeologists, the archaeological history and the real history of Scythians start approximately from the 19th century, when and start from in the Russian Empire. The first kurgans, I'll talk about the kurgans in a couple of minutes, were digged in the northern parts of Black and Azov seas, and they were found a lot of interesting things. Okay, let's go far. Herodotus also recorded legends about the origin of the Scythians, because there is a big question. Actually, I said that we have more than 215 years of history of Scythians, I mean the archaeological history of Scythians, but we have some main and common questions that hadn't been answered for these years. And one of the answer is the origin of the Scythians. Where did they come from? One of them started that the Scythians, I mean the legends, of course, it's not an historical material, but we can take it because we don't have anything else. Because as I told, the Scythians has no writing system. Maybe they had, but nothing came from the I would say from the years, from the centuries to nowadays. Nothing saved. Maybe they had. One of them started that the Scythians appeared on their land as first people 1,000 years before the invasion of Darius. I told about the Darius in the middle of the second millennium before Christ, and that they were associated with the Dnieper. It's a river, as I told, since their ancestors Targetai was considered the son of Zeus, and Nymph, daughters of Borisfen, Dnieper, actually. It is a legend that some Targetai, and that was the son of the Zeus, and the Nymphs, daughter of Dnieper, and their ancestors were those mythological characters, but of course it's a legend. Another legend with the Greeks told Herodotus attributes that that's Herodotus attribute the origin of the Scythians to the lower Dnieper, because the first Scythian king was Scyth. His name was Scyth, the son of Hercules and the maiden Echidna, who lived in Gallia. It's actually legends. Both legends are interesting. In that the first tells about the Scythians farmers. The symbols were the plough and the yoke and the axe and the bow, and we'll talk about these kind of things. And the second about the steppe cattle breeders or nomads, whose symbols are called a bow, a belt, and a bowl. I told that the Scythians a couple of minutes ago, that the Scythians, the name of the Scythians comes from the Skuda or Skuda, and it means I'm an archer. Is it? Where it was? Never mind. It comes from the name from the archer. And the bow was, of course, as I said, that they were the perfect warriors. Scythians were perfect warriors, and they, of course, have war with the bows on a belt, on a horse. The wars, the cavalry on a horse. Okay. Today the question of the origin of the Scythians hasn't been finally resolved, as I told. As a rule, referring to the fact that the main complex of material culture of the Scythians, the steppe, was foreign to the local traditions. The steppe Scythians are considered aliens. At the same time, they take into account the message of Herodotus and Aristos. Aristos is Aristotle. Yeah, Aristotle in Russian, about the arrival of the Scythians from Asia. They said that Scythians came from deep parts of Asia. Where is the deep part of Asia? Where the deepest part of Asia? Actually, if I say that the deepest part of Asia, if I say it today for modern man, for modern European, let's say, he may thought that the deepest part of Asia is somewhere in China or a Central Asia region in Altai Mountains and so on. But for the Greek, for that times, any part of land that goes far than the northern, the Black Sea, was Asia. Understand what I want to say? Any land that goes far from the Caucasus, far from the Black Sea, was Asia. Any part of this, or in some regions after Herodotus and after establishing the colonies in some parts of the northern part of the Black Sea. Some of the Greece colonies were established on the Don River, somewhere here, and after these lands they called Asia. Understand? Before it was and everywhere except the Greece territories, except the well-known or semi-known territories known by the Greece territories, were called terra incognita. It means terra means land, incognita means unknown. In any land that was not known by the Greeks, the Greeks called them terra incognita, or it means they called the land that is unknown for the Greeks people. Understand what I want to say? Any land. Okay. Okay, we told about the military, and we let's go to the costumes. And I'm sorry. Military costumes and cults were of great importance for the Scythians, one of which is associated with the veneration of Ares. The Scythian name is unknown. Ares was, let me show you, maybe you know, one of the gods of ancient Greece, the god of war. The Ares was a god of war, and the symbol of the Scythians and the veneration, it was the veneration of Ares. The Scythians has their own god of war that was the main god of war. Ares is in Greece mythology is equal to the Mars in ancient Roman mythology, but Mars and the Ares are actually the same. Yeah, you know, I mean, the names are different, but the symbol as a god of war, it was the same. Yeah, and the Scythian name of Ares or the god of war was actually is unknown. We don't know the exact name of that god, whose symbol was Akinak. Akinak, as you see here, is a let me show here, is a weapon, like a uh, is a weapon uh, very close to the knife, of course, for the kill. Yeah, Akinak. Understand? Very important things. The region of the Scythians dates back to the Indo-European traditions. The pantheon consists of 7 gods. Among the royal Scyth, I forget that I forget to say that the Western Scythians, I mean, sorry, East, yeah, Western Scythians that were lived the west part of, and they were lived in the Central Asia, in Kazakhstan, and so some of them we call them royal Scythians by the royal burials that they have that they lead before themselves. Before them, the royal means let's say king. They were king. Kurgans of the Scythian kings. That's why we are talking. We call them royal Scythians. Among the royal Scythians, there were 8 goddess, 8 gods. The pantheon. You know what's pantheon? Pantheon actually is the gods that they have in those religion system. For example, the pantheon of ancient Greece, we know it was Zeus, Aphrodite, and so on. The ancient Egyptian pantheon, we get this information from the last year's courses. Hmm. And in the Europeans are the tribes or the collection of nations that came from India. Those and in the Europeans we call those nations and tribes that that language are from India, came from India. You know why I say? Because 90%, 18% of the languages in Europe came from India. For example, Slavic languages, Iranian languages, Persian language, then Roman languages, they came from India. But of course, there's an exception. For example, Hungarian language, Scandinavian language, they from the Uralic language group. If you are interested in language groups, let me show you some language families. I'm sorry. If you are a family language family tree, if you are interested, you can Google it and look at this. Proto-Indo-European, Celtic, Hellenic, Indo-Iranian, in Indic, you see Iranian, and so on, Sanskrit, and so on. Celtic, Italic, Latin, so on. It's modern languages, modern English, Anglo, Germanic languages, Baltic, Slavic languages, and so on. And if you go to the map, not this map, no, not this map, maybe, yeah. In the European, you see, Italic, Latin, Italian, Spanish, and the Proto-Germanic, Old Norse, Swedish, Norwegian, Danish, of course. In this group, you can find English language and so on. And of course, Turkish language is a Turk language family, Altaic language family, as you see. In the European is Germanic, North German, West German, Dutch, German, English, Danish, Norwegian, Swedish, Icelandic, and so on. Romance group of Latin, Romanian, Italian, French, and so on. Spanish, Portuguese, Danish, Portuguese, I'm sorry, Uralic, Estonian, Finnish, and Altaic, Turkish, Uzbek, Turkish. As we have the main two branches of Turkish Altaic language family. Actually, in Altaic language family, there are all Turkish languages or Turkish group of language. The first, the second, we have Japanese language, Korean language, and the Mongolian language. And of course, in the Turk group of language, we have two main branches. Actually, there are 5 or 6, but we have two main. Is Oghuz group of language and Kipchak group of language. Kipchak, Kazakhs, Uyghurs, and Kazakhs, Altaic, and so on. Oghuz, we know Azerbaijani language, Turkish language, and so on. It's very interesting to get this information, to get this branch. Actually, they are, and today we can say that those people, Scythians, were belong to the European group of languages, in the European language family, but it's not proved information. Okay, as you see, they have some how to say gods, the main gods, Tabiti, Hestia, from Greek analog, Papai, Greek Zeus, Api, Greek Gaia. Gaia is very important goddess. It's a goddess of, as I know, is a goddess of earth. Gaia is it's a goddess of earth. It's a ground. The patron saint of horse breeding, Tagmasat, Greek Poseidon. Poseidon is a god of seas, as you know. Poseidon. Yeah, maybe. And so on. Okay, understand? Here we have, let's talk about the gold of the Scythians. The most, yeah, let me show you first. We'll talk about the culture. First, military. I told you about the Scythian warriors with the best equipment that they had on for that times. And for the first time, they used bronze arrowheads. You know what's arrowheads? Arrowhead. Yeah, they have bronze arrowheads, but by the time they improved their technologies, thickness of arrowheads, and they get iron arrowheads. Actually, we have tons of materials from the Scythians. If you are interested, you can go to the internet and download beautiful books for the Scythian military art. But now I want you to look at the. Oh, it's a very good. we'll talk about this. I want you to take a look to the Scythians, to the art of the Scythians. Ancient Scythians thought that they believe they have an interesting, except the pantheon of that consists of the seven gods. They have their own religion and mythological system. First of all, kurgans. What's kurgans? Actually, kurgans is a burials that were look like this. Yeah, it's something like a hills, and they bury those kings and very important persons in that kurgans. And as you see, you can notice those kurgans from afar away. And of course, when they bury there's very important persons, kings, and so on, they bury with with everything, with horses, with I don't know, with gold, and with expensive things that is that was very attractive, as you see, kurgans that were very attractive to the robbers, even at that times. Kurgan is from the Turkish word because the traditions of kurgan burials were, I'd say, uh, led by the Turks in future, in the starting from the 6th, 7th centuries, and these traditions came up to the uh, mm, from the centuries and led by the Turks, and that's why we know this word from the Turkish language, and it means something like a hill that kurgans is means hills in uh, that used like burial site. Yeah, excavations of kurgans, burial mounds. Okay, and there were a lot of interesting things, a lot of expensive things, and gold, as you see, that were found in kurgans, and robbers, oğrular, robbers. Those things were very attractive to the robbers, and those kurgans, of course, being destroyed by the robbers. What are kurgans? Scythian burial mounds. As you see, 20 meters to the diameter, above, and so on. You can Hakas Altay. You can read. I have really I saw those kurgans with my own eyes when I was in Altai. It was very interesting place, round mounds with very attractive energy. I cannot explain this for you because yeah, like something like this. And the kurgans have been excavating for 250 years by the archaeologists from all over the world, and it was the map, and it's a very interesting source of the maybe the single source of the Scythian culture and art that we can get from these from the Scythians. Okay, what can we find, and what did we find in the burials in those kurgans? Of course, beautiful pieces of art, as you see here. That's a goddess with I don't know. It's a snake goddess. It's one of the gods of um, Scythians. And first thing, it's a pectoral that I want to say. We know that Scythians very they adore gold. Why? Because in those I would say point of view and those tradition, Scythian, they thought that the only man who has a gold thing, something gold in his I mean, in his hand or in his body, or on his body, I mean, on his costume, can get the other world. Understand? The only man who has gold, and that's why they love gold. Gold means for the Scyths means eternity, means eternal afterlife, and of course they tried to get even any man in the Scythian world, in a Scythian, tried to get at least a piece of gold, trying to have at least a piece of gold. And of course, the most of the of this gold material went to the Scythian kings. As you say, very interesting thing. It's a pectoral. It's a necklace, as you see, with different animals. As you see here, it's actually we have a lot of legends. We have a lot of interpretations, tons of interpretations about this pectoral. If you are interested, you can go to the internet and read a lot, because we have here Gryphons. Gryphons goes from the Greece mythology, and it seems that Scythians has their own mythology that is for the Gryphons. Let me show you. Yeah, the classical Gryphon. Let me show you. Yeah, actually, the Gryphon is I'll say a mix of two animals. Of course, it's a mythological character, and it like who was the mythological animal? What kind of mythological animals do you know? For example, unicorn. Yeah, we know unicorns. It's a
Pegasus.
Pegasus. Yes, very good. Then in Egypt, you remember big animals,
Sphinx.
Sphinx, and so on.
Sphinx.
And in the most cases, all those animals, 90% of the mythological animals, are the mix of two or more animals, because they try to give a strength of two different animals. And in the most cases, the animals are predators. For example, when we take a look to the Gryphon, we can understand that he has a leg of the half part of his body is a lion's body. The second part of the lion's body, and the second part, let's say the first part is eagle. Yeah, it's a predator bird, and the second part is a lion. It's a predator cat. Yeah, and in my opinion, and in the opinion of the most people, most scientists, they thought that. They can, of course, just imagine what kind of things they have, what kind of thoughts they could have. But let's imagine that they thought that, in my opinion, they tried to mix the strength of two predator animals. And if we take a look to the Scythian art, we can notice that in the most cases they have predator animals. Of course, the first were horses, because horse was a holy animal, because nothing could the life in Scythia was impossible without horse. And we call this type of, as you say, the predator hunting to the, or who is it? We have an interesting legend about this part of pectoral. I'll told you next time. And we called it animalistic or Scythian animal style. And the most striking example of the art of the Scythians, Melts and Sarmatians, that are very close to the anthropologically close to the Scythians, the tribes that anthropologically close to the Scythians, were objects made in so-called Scythian animal style. If you type Scythian animal style in the internet, you'll get tons of information about this, because it's let's say the most interesting and most I'll say well-known part of Scythian art, Scythian culture. Images of animals obeyed the shape of one thing or another, vessel, armor, and the vessels I'll show you in next page. We deliberate highlighting of individual details. As you see, parts of the bodies of animal could also be depicted. Okay, let me show you first some evidence. See, also it's a panther, also with little panthers here. Also they have deers. Let me show you. Animal art or style. Yeah. Also they have deers. Very important image. It will be all those things will be on your exam. Here you are. And animals that I would say bites their tails. Also predators. You see? I'll tell you about this later. Where it goes. Okay, Scythian animalistic style. We can find it everywhere. On the vessels, as you see, on a weapon, equinox, and everywhere. Everywhere we can find this deer. Deer was actually a holy. This is from the northern part of northern coast of the Black Sea, but we have an evidence from the Central Asia. For example, this one. Yeah, this one. I see. Very well known and very interesting art. Look at this one. Perfect. Also, we can find a lot of things from the rock art or deer stones, but it's a bit. You see, the deer stones, the Scythians stones. But we'll talk about this next time. Deers. And what can we say? What can we say? A lot of things. What can we notice? It's very important. It will be animals like, it will be on. We'll talk about this a lot next time. It will be on your lesson. I mean, on your exam. and the riddle. I'm sorry, and the ridge. That's a ridge or rim that were found. It's perfect work. Actually, it was from gold. You can read about this. Yep. And it used like to comb the hairs. Okay. And what can we notice? Yeah, it's a Gryphon. Very interesting. Panther, deer, and so on. That's a rock art. I mean, petroglyphs. Gaya resimler also on the vessels. Everywhere. Here. And what can we say? From the mythology and the type of thing I can ask, yeah, deers, and so we can notice that they have some kind of animals. I mean characters. First type of characters were predators. In those point of view, they thought that the world was consist of three layers. The upper world, like in Turkish tradition, like in Scandinavian tradition, for example, in Scandinavian tradition, the world was consist of the world was divided into three parts. The upper world, it's Scandinavian. It's a tree Yggdrasil, and yeah, it's much more better. Yeah, Yggdrasil. It's a tree of life, and the world is consist of three parts: Midgard, Asgard, and Middleland, Niflheim, Jotunheim, and so on. In Turkish tradition, and there was the same. In Turkish tradition, maybe we'll find. Maybe I'll find and show you when we'll go to the Turks. In Turkish tradition, this is the same. The upper world that is under our world, we call it Erlik Khans. Maybe we'll find. I cannot find anything. In Turkish traditions is the same. We have in Turks have yeah, maybe like this. Turks have three layers of a world. The middle world where people live, the upper world, I mean underworld where the Erlik Khan's kingdom was. I mean, Erlik Khans, it was god of the death. Understand? And the upper world where the other gods live. In those traditions, maybe they have the same type of thinking, and that's why all predators will belong to the downstairs. I mean, to the underworld. I mean, all predators. Okay, predators. Yeah. Mammals like horses, deers, and so on will belong to the upper world, and the others, people and so on, were belong to the middle world, where we live nowadays. That's a tradition, and that's a kind of thinking. Of course, we'll talk next time. This is one of the best things. It's one of the oldest carpets in the world. It was found in burial in Pazyryk, in Altai. Let me give you some information. Pazyryk carpet. Yeah, this carpet is in, as I know, in St. Petersburg's museum. Yeah, one of the oldest carpets, and it was more than 3,000. No, yeah, approximately 2,500 years old. In Pazyryk Kurgan, there were there's a Scythian warrior. As you see, chariots and all those things. I saw those chariots with my own eyes, because they have in Altai they reconstructed these chariots. Also, we have Pazyryk princess. We'll talk next time, because I don't want to talk about these things about the Eastern Scythians in brief, because it was very important and very interesting topic. I saw this princess with my own eyes. It's one of the well-known mummies with tattoos. It's I don't know. It's when I saw this princess, she was covered with tattoos, as you see, Pazyryk tattoos, and it's one of the most mesmerizing things that I have seen. Or we call it Ukok, princess. Ukok, it's sorry, princess, like this. Yeah, here she is. He's in this burial sarcophagus, like something like sarcophagus. I'll talk about these things next time. It's really, look at her. 2,500 years old. Okay, we'll talk about this next time. And what can we say in the end of our today's course? We can say that we had actually a very interesting culture that goes from nowhere and vanished to now nothing. Of course, nobody says that all Scythians died and vanished to nothing, to nothingness. No, of course, no. I think they mixed with other people, and on this culture, in my opinion, Slavic, Baltic, Turkic tribes were formed on this culture, were formed on the Scythians, and that's why those traditions, those cultures, those nations, those ethnic groups were very close to each other at the I would say at the start of their formations on the earth. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is enough for today. If you have any questions, please give, and I'll try to answer. Videoları yandırın, zəhmət olmasın. Canın yox. Dərsimiz nə zaman olub? Bu nədir? Bu nə səs?
Aha, mənim fondan səs gəlir.
Ha?
Səs gəlir oradan. Heç bilmirik
Bunlar
kimdən.
qonşular remont edir, nə edirlər? Perforatorla başqa elimiz aparır. Tak. Do you have any questions?
Xeyr.
Maraqlı idi bugünkü dərs.
Aha, bəli.
Skiflər başqa aləmdir yəni. Okey, baxa görə kim var, kim yox. Tak, buydu da bizim dərsimiz. Okey. Dərsimiz nə zaman bitir, kısaca?
16:40-da bitir.
Hələ 1 saat da var. Okey. Asena burada. Asena.
Buradayım.
Okey. Ayla. Aha. Отлично. Asena, açkısızsan, güzelleşmişsən, nə gözəl.
Atatürk'üm.
Təbrik edirəm. Sağ olun mənim başıma. Mən də istəyərdim operasiya. Çox gözəl. Tak, Ayla. Ayla yoxdur. Okey. Фатима.
Здесь.
Хорошо. Фарид. Фарид. Окей. Hüseyin. Okey. Narmin.
Buradayım müəllim.
Merhaba. Nigar.
Burada.
Okey. Orhan.
Buradayam.
Okey. Ömer.
Buradayım.
Прекрасно. Рошана. Рошана.
Здесь.
Отлично. Русев.
Здесь.
Buradayım müəllim.
Отлично. Сабина.
Здесь.
Прекрасно. Вюсал. Вюсал. Окей. Okey. Onda bir dakika. Aha. Okay. Okay, and then let's talk a little bit about those things. This piece of art called Kellermes Panta. Kellermes actually is a kurgan. Actually, it's a place where the kurgan was found, and this piece of art was found. Actually, Kellermes kurgans are archaeological monuments. Kurgans located in not far from the village of Kellermeskaya in the Geginsky region of Adygea. Adygea actually is, if you want to know, is somewhere here. Or exactly. Yeah, here. No. You'll know Adygea. Let me go to the map. Just map. And show you where Adygea is situated. It's a republic in the north part of yeah, here is Adygea. It's in this region we called Kuban. or see, the northern part is the northern Caucasus. It's a Caucasus, and it's a northern part of a Black Sea. It's like Crimea. The northern part of Black Sea. It's Ukraine. When the Ukraine was in consisted of Russian Empire, of course. Russians went to excavations to dig the land, to excavate. I'm sorry, kurgans, but not there. You see, but now the Ukrainians do the same work. Okay, that's Dnepr. That's Don. That's Volga, and so on. And as I told, for the Greek civilization, for the Greeks, the territories far from the Volga, they called terra incognita because they don't know what's going on those territories. These territories they called Far Asia or just Asia. Yeah, what's going on? Ayla, mən bilmirəm, yazmışam.
Müəllim, mən bayaqdan dərsdəydim. Yəni 5 dəqiqəlik internet hatta mən megabayta qoşuldum. Ona görə indi sizin dərsinizə təzədən qoşuldum. Yoxsa bayaqdan dərsdəydim.
Müəllim Fərid də deyir ki, bəs məndə internet bitib, megabaytlayam. Qoşula bilmirəm, bu axırıncı dərsdir. Yəni deyir, yəni biləsiniz.
Yaxşı. Baxın görüm dəyişə bilərəm burada. Ha, okey. Ayla, Fərid.
Çox sağ olun müəllim.
Buyur. Amma все, da уже değişmeyeyim də hər dəfə. Ha? Vüsal, sən də buradasan da.
Zəng gəlmiş çıxmışdım, yəni qala da bilər, yəni problem deyil mənsin.
Hüseyn hardadır? Hüseyn də buradadır bəlkə. Hüseyn konkret yoxdur. Ладно. Okay. Так. Okay, in Adygea. Burials were discovered dating back to the 7th and 6th century before. It's the 7th, 6th century before Christ. We can read some information about the materials from the excavations of the Kellermes burial mound of the St. Petersburg to Imperial Archaeological Commission. Actually, the Imperial Archaeological Commission was established by the Emperor of, as I know, just let me take a look because I don't remember. Of course, it was a Russian Emperor. The first in the Russian Empire, the structure that controlled the archaeological excavations. Yeah, I don't remember. Okay, it doesn't matter actually. What emperor was established this commission, and we'll go far. Okay, among other first-class artifacts, actually we call it first-class artifacts because it was from the gold. we had a sword and a gold scabbers, as you see here. Where is it? Was here sword, see, or Akinak. Here's where axe with depictings, and so massive gold plate. I will show you in a couple of minutes. And here's some information about the panther, the smooth surface of her body, contrasted with the elaborate features that come with the scabbard. See here, sword hilt and pellex like intricate pattern. Yeah, you can read some information about this. The proportions of the panther figure are broken, the neck seemed to look powerful, and legs are short, as you see here. Yeah, legs are short. The neck is very thick. Yes, it seems to be long and powerful. The form as summarized, the main thing is highlighted the green toothy mouse. Yeah, very attractive. Part of a piece of art, a piece of this, and with big eye, very attractive. So you can read some information. I want you to read it by yourself because I don't want to waste our time for this. I'll give this article to you, of course. And what I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, before I forget, FF meselesine gelmek istedim. FF-də bizdə nə olacaq? FF3-ün ayın neçəsindən başlayır FF3? Bir gün yazıbları bura. Nəsə baxaram sonra. FF-də mən sizdən nə istəyirəm?
Aha.
Hərəniz bir mövzu seçirsiniz. Keçdiyimiz mövzular ola bilər. Keçdiyimiz mövzular olmaya da bilər.
Söhbət bu semestr, keçən semestr fərq edir.
Keçən semestr kimi ola bilər. Keçən semestr, yəni keçən ildə demək istəyirsən.
Bəli, bəli.
Aha.
Keçən ildə bilirik mövzulardan nələr var. Onun üçün soruşdum.
Bəli, ola bilər. Bir mövzu seçirsiniz. 5-6 səhifəli article yazırsınız. 5-6 səhifəli necə deyirlər? Bir dosiye və şəkillər mütləq, illüstrasiyalar olmalıdır. Və çıxış edirsiniz. Onu əlbəttə ki, bir günə salmayacaqsınız.
Yəni slide formasında.
Slide formasında, bir də ki, mətn formasında. Mətni siz özünüz üçün hazırlayacaqsınız və danışacaqsınız. Suallar olacaq. Bir-iki dənə sual verə bilərəm orada sadəcə olaraq. Əmin olun ki, siz onu belə deyək də, səmimi qəlbdən hazırlamısınız. Amma siz özünüz seçirsiniz mövzu. Sizə xoşunuza gələn. Məsəl üçün kimsə skifləri seçə bilər. Amma ümumi olaraq mövzu tam mövzu kimi yox. Çünki məsələn biz ən çox götürsək skif mövzusunu, skiflər. O çox böyük mövzudur və normal bir şey hazırlamaq üçün gərək bir çox vaxt sərf edəcəksiniz və 5-6 səhifəyə siz onu yığıb-yığışdıra bilməyəcəksiniz. Amma sırf hansısa mövzu, məsələn deyək ki, cats in ancient Egypt tradition or woman in ancient Greece tradition. Söhbət bir mövzudur. Or ancient or Gothic architecture. Məsələn, sırf memarlıq haqqında. Or Gothic style, lifestyle və s. Or petroglyphs of ancient times. Yəni sırf hansısa bir mövzu. Or military of Scythians, I don't know, Scythian swords ola bilər, Scythian Akinax, sırf o mövzu haqqında nəsə götürsün. Amma mövzuları deməli gələn dəfəyə qədər xahiş edirəm hamınız mövzular siyahısını mənə göndərin. Gələn dərsdə mən hamıdan mövzular other teachers already started what, Asena?
Mən FFT ilə bağlı deyir o da, yəni ki, digər fənlərdən öncə şeydə hazırlayıb veririk.
Ha, tamam. Yəni gələn dərs artıq gələn dərsə qədər mövzularımız oje approve olmalıdır. Ona görə də bu gündən başlayaraq gələn dərsə qədər yavaş-yavaş WhatsApp var, hər şey var. Yavaş-yavaş mövzuları mənə atın. Məsələn, deyirsən ki, Rusiyev, mən belə bir mövzu seçmək istəyirəm. Mən də deyirəm, okey, yoxsa gəl dəyişək. Çünki ola bilər, məsələn, deyə bilərsiniz, sırf skiflər. Skiflərin nəyi? Məsəl üçün, at, skif mədəniyyətində atın rolu, məsəl üçün, ola bilər. Ya da ki, skif mədəniyyətində nəsə, qədim Yunan mədəniyyətində nəsə. Yəni, konkret olaraq bir şey. Hamısı global olmamalıdır. Global olsa, yığıb-yığışdırmaq olmayacaq. Understand? Okay. 5-6 səhifə, nə deyirlər ona, bir yazı. Yüksək 10-15 də nə heç olmasa 20, 15, 10 azdır, siz уже böyük uşaqlarsınız. 15-20 heç olmasa olsun. Maraqlı illüstrativ material. Nə şəkildə olduğu fərqi yoxdur. PDF-də ola bilər, nə bilim, Corel-da ola bilər, PowerPoint-da ola bilər, Word-da ola bilər, fərqi yoxdur. Heç bir fərqi yoxdur. Sadəcə olaraq əsas olsun ki, hazır nədəsə olsun. Onu siz mənə göndərəcəksiniz. Mən onu açacağam özümdə, baxacağam, okeydir və hər dəfə, hər dərsdə 3 nəfər, 3 nəfər, 4 nəfər dərsin əvvəlində o haqda, yəni arzulananda danışacaq. Məsələn, gələn dəfə deyək ki, ayla hansısa bir, gələn dəfə, əlbəttə ki, bəlkə də çatdırmazsınız, o biri dəfələr, FF-in başlayan vaxtlarından, o qiymətləndirməyə başlayanda artıq yavaş-yavaş 1-1, 3-3, 2-2 siz iştirak edirsiniz. Deyək ki, Nigar xanım iştirak edir, hazırlayıb hansısa mövzuda yandıracaq, nə deyirlər, ekranı, göstərəcək ekranda və o slide-show göstərə-göstərə danışacaq. Ola bilsin, mən sual verəcəm, maraqlı olacaq mənə, kimsə sual verə bilər və s. Yəni, onlar hamısı sizin qiymətinizə təsir edəcək. Həm FF qiymətinizə, həm də ki, əsas qiymətə. Anladınız?
Daha bəli, aydın.
Bəli, müəllim.
İngiliscə yoxsa Azərbaycanca? Biz ingilis sektoruyuq, amma onu mən dəqiq soruşum, tamam mı? Azər müəllimdən.
Aha, oldu müəllim.
İngiliscə imtahan verə bilərsin. Mütləqdir, yoxsa Azərbaycan. Məncə də Azərbaycanca da olsa problem olmaz, amma mən soruşaram. Mənim məqsədim siz, yəni ki, materialı qavramaq. Əgər sizin İngiliscə biraz elə bir zəifliyiniz varsa və ona İngiliscə hazırlaya bilmirsinizsə, amma biliyi var, öyrənmisiniz, materialı bilirsinizsə, sadəcə olaraq İngilis dili biraz zəif olduğuna görə siz o materialı təqdim edə bilmirsinizsə, o demək deyil ki, mən sizə qiymət qoymayacağam. O anormal bir şeydir. Sən materialı bilirsənsə, niyə yaxşı qiymət almayasan? Düzdür, nə var, İngilis dilini bilmirsən. Yox, elə söhbət ola bilməz. Amma onu mən dəqiq soruşaram. Okey. Bir sual.
Xeyr, yox mənim, aydın oldu hər şey, yəni effektləri.
Okay. Then I think we can finish our lesson. Sonuçta kifayət qədər çox məlumat aldıq skiflər haqqında. And see you next time.
See you.
Okay. Bye.
Sağ ol.
Tamam.
Sağ ol.